Hello.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I had sushi for lunch,
Oh God,
so
I'm so jealous. Stop it. Just
I
stop it right there, mister.
I love sushi. I probably have it like 2 or 3 times a week,
Yeah,
and
I can empathize. I've been there with the sushi as well. Although I've only had it once since I've come out to Cali, but jealous. I've had more coffee than I should, and I'm halfway through an apple. So hearty meals today.
well, that's good. I have some water, and that's it. So,
So, my friend, how's it going? How have your solo queue struggles gone since last week?
you know what? I need to look. So, I was contemplating not solo queuing anything yesterday because I was up from when we talked last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, that's not really fair because I think I was at
So, my friend.
1975 when we started last week,
Mm-hmm.
and I am exactly at 1975 today.
Okay.
So, good and bad, I guess. You know, it happens. I know last week we worked a lot on like middle stuff, but I don't know, man. You got me on this Dazzle kick, and it's a love hate relationship, though. I have to say, there's parts of it that I love, and then there's parts of it that I hate. So.
Yeah. Have you been playing Dazzle mostly mid, or have you been supporting like a good little Dazzle?
Mainly supporting. I haven't even attempted to play a mid yet. So
Okay. Well, so what are you thinking about working on today? Last week we talked about Shadow Fiend. I know one of the things that you asked about was how to deal with Riki, um, and we talked about Lena as well. Do you want to look at some Dazzle, or do you want to try and dive into Shadow Fiend, or
I played a couple of those heroes that we talked about last week. Like I played Shadow Fiend a couple times this week, and
okay?
I think a lot of I don't want to spend I don't think 2 hours on just Shadow Fiend because I think a lot of my struggles with him are just mechanical things that you're not going to be able to say,
Mm-hmm.
oh well, you messed that up. Like getting like the raises in the right areas and at the right timing is really difficult. But I
Right.
don't. I would rather I think work more along the lines of. I mean, honestly, like with the guys I play with every night, they just want me to play Dazzle all the time at this point. So, um,
All right. Well, let's start off with the Dazzle game then, and then I suppose we'll take her from there and see how that treats us.
okay, perfect.
All right. So it's you do U.S. East, and we'll find a match. All right. Cool. So from last week, I'm looking at my notes here, and we wanted to specifically focus on kind of map positioning and that kind of stuff. And with the support Dazzle, we'll kind of talk about the guide that I did a little bit, how it applies to some stuff, and we'll talk about warding. I think in particular is something good. Have you been? How do you feel about warding with Dazzle? Because that is part and parcel with the Shadow Priest.
Right. So I really like it. The only struggles I've had this week playing Dazzle where I've really run into problems is when you have um, like a jungle hero. So you're really stuck with like one solid support, and it's tough as a Dazzle because you're sort of forced. Dazzle's, I don't know, I don't want to say like a farm heavy support, but really to like have a heavy impact, I think needs a lot of farm.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like for example, I think yesterday there was a really frustrating game where we had like a Nature's Prophet in the jungle. And then I was bottom against a Weaver with like a Life Stealer, and it just was horrible, right? Because you're giving all your farm to the Life Stealer. Your Furion's in your jungle. He can't even move over there if the lane gets hard, and then you're just stuck buying both wards and of both types, right, to deal with the Weaver. So it was really difficult to get any type of farm, and Life Stealer is really a hero that you can't take a little bit of farm from even early. You know what I mean? They don't like when you
Yeah.
do that. So
Yeah, that is the problem with supporting solo queue. If you're the sole support, they kind of expect you to do everything. They expect you to zone out the other lane, not take any farm, and also buy wards. One thing that you can do that helps is if you stack and then pull. If you guys are in your safe lane instead of the hard lane, that's a way that you can find yourself a little bit of farm because the carry will usually stay in lane and you can actually get the last hits on the neutrals and deny some experience to the opponents. But of course, that only works if you're in your safe lane. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing that is important to try and keep an eye on is anytime your carry backs up, if he moves to the side shop, if he gets killed, if he goes to check wards, if he does anything, even if he just backs up and he's not really paying attention, don't be afraid to snipe last hits that he would have missed anyway. They don't like it when they're about to do it and you're like fighting them for it, but most of these people aren't farming perfectly, so there's usually little windows where you can try and keep an eye out and snipe some last hits here and there. But that one of the reasons I think you're exactly right about Dazzle. He's sort of farm dependent, but more importantly, he's experience dependent. All of his abilities are worth leveling up, and he really benefits from solo experience, one of the reasons that he doubles as a solo mid-hero. So I really like him paired with aggressive lanes that you can kill with. I don't think Dazzle is well suited for a lane where like you and a lifestealer and you're playing that hardcore babysitting, not taking a single last hit. You guys aren't going to kill anything. You're just going to sit back and watch your lifestealer farm. I think there are heroes that are better suited for that can make, like Crystal Maiden, for example, does that a little bit better because she offers more to the team with a global aura, the mana regen, and she can also jungle very easily. Frostbite does overtime on neutrals, so you can actually jungle with her where you can't really make that same recovery with Dazzle. So I think he pairs better in a lane where you can try and pick up a kill, and I often find it best to try and encourage my lane partner to be a little bit more aggressive. Because to me that's the best of both worlds. Your carry gets extra from getting kills, and you get extra from getting kills. So that's
right.
What I feel like
I feel like Dazzle Bristleback could be a really great like pub stopping lane together because he can just get so tanky, and then on top of that, like with your ability to heal, and then the escape while everybody is slowed if he gets too low. I think that could be exciting.
Yeah.
Thought about trying that with a couple of buddies.
Yeah. There are a couple of heroes that Dazzle pairs really well with. I like if you're interested in playing in carry Naga Siren, she works well because Riptide does minus armor. Basically, anyone that does really heavy physical damage or has a lot of minus armor. Alchemist works pretty well. Huskar used to be the classic Dazzle combo, but since they changed his passive from getting raw damage to raw attack speed, Huskar just sucks. Honestly, that's the. It's still a good combo. You can be really aggressive because, like Shallow Grave, Dazzle Huskar attacks faster the lower his health is. So if he has no health and you grave him, he can like just go ham on people. But there are a couple of good duos here. So let's see. It may be worth mentioning here. Yeah, what I like to do is mouse over my hero and then mention like I'd like to Dazzle if someone wants to grab a nice aggressive carry, something like that is. Let's see, Kunkka Magnus Storm. Oh, good, we've got a lever.
This happened last week.
Yeah,
first game.
We must be cursed. They see the coach and they freak out, man. It's not even ranked. It's just regular. Why are people leaving?
Yeah.
Oh man.
As if your ping's an ability to alt draw lines on the map gives such a huge advantage.
Taking over games, man. Pinging like a madman. So all of those heroes that I listed work pretty well. I actually really like the Naga Dazzle duo. It's kind of particularly potent in the early levels when Riptide is kind of tilted. Dazzle Bristleback is another one that's pretty scary. Actually, Dazzle Lifestealer is not a bad combo. He works okay with Ursa because of Ursa has kiting problems, so anybody that can keep people kind of in place, Dazzle works well with. Now, unfortunately for you, no one was feeling generous, and no one really grabbed a hero that pairs particularly well with Dazzle. But that's okay. At least we've got an Enchantress, sort of a secondary support.
Yeah. So like usually I buy the courier, but I think I might just wait and somebody already bought wards. Okay, so
yeah,
that's fine. So
yeah, I definitely do one or the other every game. It at least helps, and I always like to think about those items as kind of like building brownie points. In pub games, there is a whole dynamic of Dota that doesn't exist in competitive when you have a 5-person team of like getting brownie points to get your team to do what you want them to. So any ward that you buy, any courier, anytime you upgrade it, any sentries, dust, stuff like that, I think of that as like, all right, guys, I chipped into the team. Now you guys need to chip into the team. I kind of try to use that as a tool to get them to listen and take me seriously. I've noticed that people tend to respect supports more that actually try to support. So that's sort of how I think about it. So yeah, courier awards. I like to start with the Ring of Protection, so you can go for the fast Basilius, 2 GG branches, one set of tangos, and 1 clarity potion. That's the opening build that I've found the best. I like the extra armor on Dazzle, and I find the Basilius to be key. So yeah, go ahead and hop down here with the sniper. Let's see how we're gonna lane this. Ooh, off lane.
I think the sniper's gonna go mid.
Oh, is he? Or is Tusk gonna go mid? Tusk has wards, so maybe he won't. It's interesting. I don't know how your teammates are gonna handle this, but okay, sniper's going mid. It will be. Is this a Dazzle Enchantress lane? Oh my Lanta.
Heals lane for the win. Nothing but heals all day long.
You know, it's been a long time since I've seen a lane Enchantress, and she's got Gloves of Haste, Clarity. She's gonna go on early Midas. So, all right, well, interesting.
Pro blocking too.
I'm not gonna judge it. I'm not gonna judge it. Magnus bottom is kind of strange as well. So, what is it with people having connection issues every time we try this? Well, anyway, it's good Dazzle practice nonetheless. So there you go. You took that first last hit. That's pretty much perfect. I'm gonna look at your camera here. So with Dazzle, one of the things that I like to do is grab a couple of the early last hits, just so you can get the early Basilius. But what's more important is maintaining your lane control. So if you remember in the Dazzle guide, you can start denying your creeps once they hit 50% or so, and that's where you want to go. Oh, back up, back up, back up. Anytime Razor throws his static link on you, just try and run away and break the link as quickly as possible, because not only will he make your last hitting and harassing difficult, but makes his a little bit easier. So with Dazzle, you kind of want to find this sweet spot that changes in every game versus how much you want to deny, how much you want to last hit, and how much you want to harass enemy heroes. Those are sort of the 3 things that you need to balance. And it really does change. If the other team has 2 ranged heroes, for example, you're probably not going to be doing much harassing. You're going to focus much more on lane control and denying your own creeps. Conversely, if it's all melee, you're going to want to harass and zone them out of experience range. Once you get your Basilius, you should be able to trade blow for blow with this Razor. And yeah, like that is sort of a perfect harass. So you can go ahead and heal up yourself an Enchantress. Generally speaking, you don't want to be sitting at full mana, just so you can capitalize on some of that passive mana regen you've got going on. And basically here, because they have a Magnus and exactly what you're doing, anytime Magnus is a little bit too far forward, you want to try and chip at him. And anytime you get a hit on Razor, you can go for it as well. Luckily, you guys have plenty of sustain to try and deal with this harass. I think Razor is going to be out of mana before too long, though. So, yeah, like I said, this is a lane where you're going to want to harass because Magnus has no stout shield. Anytime they don't have a shield, you'll be able to do a lot of fancy work with the harass. And it seems like you have this build kind of on lockdown. Now that you have enough for the Sage's Mask to finish the Basilius, you have to kind of make this executive call. Do I use the Courier, or can I make it to the side shop? Generally, you don't want to take the Courier from mid unless you absolutely have to, but these guys are kind of shoving into your tower. You may have an opening right after this creep wave, but yeah, be wary. So you're doing pretty well so far, except this Enchantress I don't think is last hitting very much. So here's an opportunity to start chipping away at that Magnus. Basically, anytime the Magnus pokes up to the creeps, you want to lay into him. He does have a Ring of Health, so he'll be able to regen pretty quickly. But just kind of staying aggressive on him and giving him that notion, sort of like training a dog. If anytime he comes forward, you're going to try to harass him. That will start to deter him from moving up and last hitting. So normally you'd want to be stacking and pulling this camp right here, but you honestly don't even need to be right here because this Razor is continually shoving into your lane with his what's it called, plasma field. So he's doing a good job harassing you guys back, but in turn he's also shoving the lane into your tower, which is alright. Poison, poison, there you go. Just auto attack, and that's a kill. There you go. You don't even need my help, man. You know exactly what you're doing.
It's just, this is like a great hero if you don't like attack animation.
Yeah. Did you hear that as well? Enchantress said, "Thank you, Dazzle." Look, you're making friends too.
Oh man.
This Enchantress is pretty bad, but yeah. There you go. There you go. When in doubt, make a joke. Dazzle, look at this. They love you. They think
They
you're
know.
awesome.
Yeah, right, dude. They know that you're the coach. They saw, so they're like, oh, we're just gonna, shameless plugs for Dazzle.
Shameless plugs for Dazzle. Hey, I'm into it. Any love that Dazzle can get. But you handle that pretty well. The thing about Dazzle is anytime you really want to bully people, you have such a good attack animation, you have such aggressive potential. Your goal is think bully. Think if they have one ranged hero, if the range count is 1 for 1, anytime a ranged hero hits you, you should hit them, right? That's sort of that. You want to be in a position where if you think they're going to hit creeps, maybe you can sneak an auto attack off and then they won't get one. Conversely, if it looks like they're trying to line up an auto attack, hit them first, try and bully them out, and if it looks like you're not going to win the last hit war, that's when you want to heal yourself, and that is usually enough to tip the scales a little bit. And if they're going to stand their ground, just throw out that poison. One of the big things about the poison is the slow. Usually, once people see the poison come out, they go, okay, I'm not going to win this battle, I better run, which is usually not the right thing to do against a slow, because they're about facing, trying to head back to their tower, and you're just laying auto attacks into them while they're trying to get away, and that slow is slowly eating away at them and doing more damage. So that's like the position that you want to force out. You want to force out an opportunity to trade blows, use your heals to get an advantage. They go, oh no, this isn't going to work in my favor. Throw out a poison touch, and then they're having a bad time. And if it looks like you're not going to win the battle, you've always got your shallow grave to bail you out, and that basically is like an auto attack battle, and then you have an extra 5 seconds to lay into them, and that's usually enough time to have poison touch come up again, unless it's only like level 1. And kind of secure a kill. So that's the position you sort of want to set up for yourself. But unfortunately, I think this game is going to end up being a quick departure here.
The Dazzle Enchantress lane was just too much to handle for these two.
The Dazzle is too much. But yeah, you handle that pretty well. That's pretty much exactly what you want to do. The only thing is trying to not get hit by the plasma field quite so often, but that takes... that just sort of takes practice to get used to what the full range on the plasma field is.
And the idea that you almost want to run towards the hero, right, than away, because the farther away, it does more damage.
Yeah, exactly. It's a weird ability in that sense that if you run far enough away, you don't take any damage because you missed the whole thing, but if you run closer to him, then you take a little bit of damage, but it ensures that he does do at least some damage to you. So go ahead and grab your Basilius and your boots here. There you go. So this is usually the exact opener I go for. The only difference is sometimes I opt for an early magic wand. That is an item that is a lifesaver on any hero with mana issues, and Dazzle is one such hero, especially in the early game. So it kind of depends on the lane. If they're spamming spells, then a magic wand is really a lifesaver. Like anytime you're up against a bristleback, or like a Venomancer using wards, or like a Zeus spamming chain lightning, anything like that, magic wand will be worth its weight in gold. Yeah, that hurts.
Dark light.
So what you can do is eat a tango here, and then go ahead and eat that clarity potion.
The sprites are with us.
And then grab yourself a magic wand from the side shop. And try not to get that potion knocked off.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Did exactly what you said not to do.
Yeah, well, it was just bad timing. I probably should have given you a heads up. So,
so do you normally, I max poison touch first most of the time?
Yeah, I would poison touch that Razor, poison him. That'll slow him down. Auto attack, auto attack, auto attack. And you might need to heal your Enchantress. There you go. Just keep auto attacking. All right, that was pretty solid. As soon as that Razor got aggressive, you can, you don't need to hesitate. You can just poison him right away, auto attack, auto attack, auto attack, not a care in the world. You probably could have killed him right there, because I think he would have turned to about face, and Enchantress could have thrown a couple. Actually, poison that Razor, you might be able to kill him. Auto attack, auto attack, auto attack, heal, heal, heal. And one. Well, 1 for 1. It's okay. That's pretty solid. That was a hyper aggressive move. If you had Grave up, you probably could have lived. That was sort of a suicide mission. I was sort of hoping Enchantress might consider
your bottom tower is under
throwing
attack.
some Nature's Attendants, but she just ran away. She was pretty low, so I guess can't blame her too much. This Hand of Midas opening for her isn't working so well. She still has no idea.
Well, she still went boots first. So I get buying the glove and then rushing the Midas, but she dropped 450 on boots right away.
Yeah, maybe she's just gonna go early treads. I don't know what her plan is. So with an exchange like that, though, I would say that that's worth it, because in this is sort of a weird lane, Razor Magnus, but generally speaking, Razor is like a position 1 type carry in this scenario. You are a position 4/position 5 support. If a support can kill a carry, that's always a good trade for you. So that's one of the nice things about Dazzle is you can be okay with those kind of suicide trades if you're doing it on carry. If you're like sort of doing a suicide trade support for support, it's kind of a wash. It doesn't really do that much. It's usually better just to sit in lane and keep getting experience. But you know, you just killed one of their carries in exchange for a support. So usually that's a pretty good setup. So okay, Poison Touch is what you were talking about. Yes, that is the build that I like to go for because it opens up a lot of aggressive potential. At level 3, Poison Touch does 260 damage. So here you go. You have the exact right idea, and just throw out a heal. You guys will be okay. There you go. One of the other things that you can be watchful for is to drop a heal bomb. So, especially against melee heroes, if they come up to the creep line, you can heal your creeps, and they can take a massive amount of damage. Actually, let me pull up my Dazzle guide because I have numbers in there. So yeah, anytime Magnus is sort of like surrounded by creeps, like if he comes up and starts right-clicking, don't be afraid to drop a heal bomb on the creeps because it does crippling damage.
You're no right.
It's sort of a weird mechanic to get used to because it's like each bounce like makes a different, as it moves from unit to unit, each beam does the amount of damage it says. So if like the creeps are surrounding that hero, like each bounce hits him, so it has a really high max damage if executed properly. At level 1, it can do a maximum of 240 damage, so not that much. But at level 4, it can do a maximum of 840 if every single one hits. So, poison that Magnus if you can. That's a kill. And he's dead. You can just back off. You can heal now if you need to. I think he's dead. Did I not get the math on that? I was looking at your camera.
In 12 seconds, I can heal us, Dazzle.
Okay, great.
Alright, looks like I need to go back to the calculator. I thought he was dead for sure. Maybe he had some wand charges. Alright, my mistake, my friend.
Sprites.
So yeah, the only real suggestion I would make with your basic play so far is just be more aggressive with that Poison Touch. Like, you have a great build right now, and I think you're almost underestimating the amount of damage that you can put out if you open with Poison Touch. Yeah, I don't know how he survived. I guess the regen from Perseverance was enough. So now
she's not going to take these last hits. I'm going to get him.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah, I don't know what Enchantress's plan is. I mean, it's not that late. It's only 9 minutes, but she's just like happy, not really focusing on last hits, not really buying items. There you go. That was perfect. And now just keep going, keep going. And okay, you might not want to chase it, but oh, that's a dead Razor. There you go. Look at you, man. You're all over this. You've been practicing this, Dazzle. That was absolutely perfect, though. Oh yeah, I would have grabbed Poison Touch level 4. The level 4 of Poison Touch is the most valuable point. Because the 4th level is the one where it actually stuns at the end instead of just doing a slow.
Oh.
So that's like that's kind of the reason you level up Poison Touch primary is so you can get level 4 as quickly as possible at level 7. So if you are going to go like primary Poison Touch, I would say every single time go for that 4th point.
Nature attend us.
Unless you absolutely need Shadow Wave. Or, you know, absolutely need your ultimate or some sort of a weird scenario. I do like that Poison Touch a little bit better.
We still love you deeply.
It used to be different. It used to be the 3rd level was the one that stunned, but they changed it in 6.79. Yeah, I'm just looking at the tooltip here. And it also increases the slow. Yeah, see, Razor's getting smart now. He's not going to pursue. If this was maybe 2 kills ago, he would have probably pursued that. But this is when playing Dazzle is fun because your posturing is pretty powerful. Nature's Attendance. This Enchantress.
My sprites are with us.
Oh, there you go.
I wonder if
Nice grave. Remember, you've got your wand charges. You're gonna need to hit him here. The creeps will kill you. That is probably going to be a kill.
Top is
And
missing.
Enchantress will finish it off, but there you go. That was handled perfectly. You got the Grave off just in time. Oh, I love this Dazzle build. See, this is when the Dazzle build really shines, because... Ooh, that hurts. Nothing you could have done about that. Maybe you could have healed yourself. I don't know if that would have put you over a threshold. But yeah, not much you're doing against the Zeus ulti. Luckily, though, Zeus is not a very popular pick, so that doesn't happen too often.
Merlini will be
Your
happy.
bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
So, at this point, now that you've got your core items, your team has been good about buying wards, this is where I would consider chipping in for a set of wards. And you have just enough. So, seems like an ideal time. There's one in stock. There you are. Port arguably could have been better, and then you could have brought wards on the courier, but I usually just like to pick up the wards and I can plant them as I go.
So important places would be like in that
Your
area.
bottom tower is under attack.
Not at this juncture. If you're the one that starts with wards instead of courier, a position that I really like is right here, right on this little lip, because it gives vision of the bottom rune, and it also gives you vision of this entire jungle area, so you can see if mid is rotating down for a gank, you can see if the lane is coming in to try and do something sneaky. At this point, the laning phase is kind of starting to come to an end as we're 13, 15 minutes in. You're at the point now where you can actually start roaming around and probably ganking a little bit and giving Enchantress some room to, maybe get a hand of Midas. I would actually be tempted to put down some slightly more aggressive wards here. Your bottom is pretty well covered. This ward is pretty fresh at the bottom rune.
So, like, normally I don't level up Weave until 10. So, like, right now I would max out Poison Touch. That's, I mean, like, I don't know.
Given the build that you opened with, I would go ahead and grab Poison Touch now. The way I like to do it is at level 6, usually get the second point in Shadow Wave, level 7 get Poison Touch, and then at level 8 get that first point in Weave. But I've actually... Ooh, she's going to heal you. Yeah, honestly, I've found that Weave is more powerful than a lot of people give it credit for, and I think it's worth leveling up at 6. If you're in a situation to handle it. Alright, throw out a Poison Touch. This is an opportunity to heal bomb. We'll do a fair bit of damage. And throw out a stun. There you go. There you go. You got your wand charges, don't forget.
Oh, I moved it to a different key.
That's alright, Enchantress will man up and she won't work out. So, okay, that was pretty solid, though. If you had poisoned Magnus, that fight would have gone much, much differently.
Right, there was really no point to poison the Storm Spirit, right? He was probably dead anyway.
Exactly, he was absolutely dead, no matter what. So if you had poisoned Magnus, not only would it have done enough damage to finish him off, but it would have stunned after the set time of about 3 seconds, and then he would have just been standing there with his pants down, and you guys could have given him some of the dirty. So, yeah, you kind of want to try it. It's sort of weird because you want to use Poison Touch. I like to open with it, get it off on cooldown as quickly as possible so that it comes up again as quickly as possible. Because it does an absurd amount of damage. It does 320 physical damage with a 7-second cooldown at level 4. So if you start a fight with Poison Touch, I mean, okay, some fights you're going to have to start off with a heal if you take a lot of burst damage, but use the Poison Touch as quickly as possible, and chances are you're still going to be fighting in 7 seconds. Most skirmishes last longer than that. So if you can get 2 Poison Touches off in a single engage, and if it's a 2v2, that's 640 damage you're putting out from dots alone. That's not channeling, that's not, you standing there doing auto attacks, that's just a singleton cast that ticks throughout the fight. So you really want to use that cooldown as quickly as possible. You also jump the gun on the Grave a little bit right there. They had kind of blown all their cooldowns already. Like Storm zipped in, Magnus used his ultimate with the RP straight away, and then after that, burst damage is done. It's kind of just right clicks. So it's not a bad idea to sort of, if you panic, just, oh shit, Shallow Grave, that's not a bad reflex, but there you could have just healed first, Poison Touched, auto attack, auto attack, auto attack, and basically you want to save that Grave until the bitter end. You want to use it as close to them dying as possible without them actually dying. So if you can get it off when they have like 10 hit points to spare, that's beautiful, because then they have that full 5 seconds of immunity to death to walk away, and then usually that gives you a better window for your Shadow Wave to come off cooldown, and you can hit him with a heal right as the Shallow Grave is about to expire.
So at this point, would you go right to Weave, or would you max out
I would definitely pick up Weave.
Your top
here at
tower
this
is
point.
under attack.
Weave is another one, even though I've kind of already said sometimes you want to Shadow Wave first and you want to use Poison Touch as quickly as possible. You want to use Weave as quickly as possible. And I would go ahead and throw out a heal here on yourself and Enchantress just because it looks like someone's coming in.
Get healed.
It's just the Magnus, and oh, she's going to heal you up. So yeah, if he's coming over, you can man up on this guy. Just throw Poison and off auto attack, auto attack, auto attack. Yeah, he'll move into the fog. And just throw a couple of auto attacks, just harass him back. He'll burn a solo RP on you to get away. All right, well, that's already a victory. That's his ultimate. That's a 120-second cooldown. So, well done, well done. Make sure you move your wand to whatever key you're comfortable with, if it wasn't.
Yeah, I did. I finally moved it.
Okay. So, if you're just walking around at low hit points there, I was just going to say, that's perfect. Throw a poison on Magnus, and he's dead. There you go. One more auto attack. Boom, biggity boom. Right, grave yourself as quickly as you can. Perfect. And throw out the heal. You can eat wand charges. And you're fine. Now, what you could have done there, which would have been a really clutch play, is after you graved, thrown the Poison Touch on Alchemist, and then backed up, and then weaved, and then backed up, and maybe you guys could have turned it around on him. There was an opportunity for that to happen, but that would have been a pretty clutch set of key mashing. That was really good, though. You got that grave on. That was like a perfect shallow grave. That's almost exactly what you want to do, and even to start that fight off, I don't know. I'm sure you noticed you hit him with the heal bomb to start it off. That was, again, just sort of the perfect way to start that. And actually, you can kill this Alchemist. If you could come around the backside, and you don't even need to. There you go. Use those phase boots. There you go.
Dazzle!
You know exactly what you're doing, man.
I'm trying.
No, you've got this. So this is that point now where you guys can probably start pushing. Well, never mind. Magnus is going to come back. But with an Enchantress, if he was grabbing creeps, you guys could be starting to chip away at this tower. And go ahead and rotate down this way.
Sprites.
And go ahead and plant your ward. If you want, you can put it right here since they still seem to be dead set on fighting now that Alchemist is rotated down. So I guess they'll be around here. And if you want, you can actually do a wraparound and maybe go for a gank here if Enchantress comes with you.
I am pretty low on mana right now.
Yeah. You do have enough, though. If you
Your
open with a
bottom
Poison
tower
Touch,
is
they'll
under
use at least a
attack.
couple of spells, and you should have enough to at least Magic Wand and do a Grave or a Shadow Wave. Enchantress will have attendance here in about 10 seconds. And oh, look at that. She's got her Hand of Midas. That's good news. So yeah, this is that opportunity that I was kind of talking about where when nobody's in the lane, just start taking those last hits. If they won't take it, don't let it go to waste. The Radiant doesn't do too much with gold. Enchantress may be in a bit of a pickle, so prepare to roam over if they try and jump on her. Oh, no. Alright, I would head back to the tower.
Oh, no.
You might be okay. Just be ready to grave. He missed his shockwave. You may want to grave here. One more auto attack. Grave it, grave it, grave it.
Oh, I was mashing my W key, and for whatever reason, it must have just canceled.
No, it just has a cast animation. It has a relatively long cast time, and Alchemist just got the
Your bottom
he got the
tower is
concoction
under
off a
attack.
little bit too quickly. If you casted it maybe half a second earlier, you would have at least survived that initial round of burst. But Alchemist inbound as well. That was a 3-man gank on a Dazzle. So you can sort of look at that as dying is never really a victory, but that joke about space created does sort of hold, where that was a 3-man gank and they were successful, but Dro is free farming up top. You've got Sniper basically free farming in the mid. I mean, your Sniper he's a beef stick right now. He's got a Shadow Blade and a Maelstrom, so you're doing all right. Meanwhile, Tusk is going to grab he's going to avenge your death on the Alchemist. So it just takes practice getting the shallow grave because it does have a relatively long cast time, and that's where that kind of gamble comes in with how long do I want to wait to use it, because if you get stunned, obviously it gets interrupted. It's not an instant cast kind of a deal.
Your middle tower is
Another
under
ward
attack.
location that I really like, if there's no wards in the vicinity, is right here. This little lip in the corner of the Ancients, because it opens up vision for your team to do Ancients freely. It gives you vision of the top rune here, and kind of gives you vision of this whole entryway into your Radiance, or into your Ancients. So it's just find that sweet spot in the corner, and yeah, look at all that vision it gives. It even pokes into the mid lane, so you can see if ganks are incoming. Another one of those wards I really like. Somebody double warded down here. So yeah, you're at the point where you can really just start roaming around and trying to set up kills.
I was gonna go top, but
Yeah,
obviously.
unfortunately.
So now I maybe just help push the tower a bit.
Yeah, definitely. Come in, you can turn on your Basilius, and, well, you don't even need to. Snipers
The enemy's
step
middle
ahead of you.
tower has
Maybe
fallen.
you could ping bottom, rotate
That
down,
was nice of
and
you.
you guys will have an advantage here. Yeah, you can definitely set up a kill. Tusk is going to go man mode before you even get there.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Oh, Tusk in trouble. So yeah, head on down. Magnus, I don't know if he canceled that RP, but he is being bold. So go ahead and use your weave first. Try and find that good weave positioning. You can cast it from afar. I would maybe try and catch the Alchemist and Magnus if possible.
Your bottom
They're going to
tower is
dive,
under
maybe
attack.
not. There you go. All right, now I would focus the poison on the Magnus. Auto attack, auto attack, auto attack. Do what you do best as
Your
Mr.
bottom
Dazzle.
tower is
Get ready to
under
throw
attack.
yourself a heal. And you're going to want to... Yep, you
Your
got it.
bottom
You got
tower has fallen.
it. That was perfectly executed.
Sanctioned by the order.
That was almost... The only thing you could have done better is if you caught both Razor and Magnus in the weave. But that was...
The enemy's
That
top
was brilliant.
tower
Look
has
at,
fallen.
look at this guy.
It doesn't matter.
Don't ever eat yourself ever, Dazzle.
Don't ever E yourself. I'm pretty sure if you didn't E yourself there, you would have died. But that's all right. That's
Yeah, there was no one there. There was no one there to E.
like, I mean, it's a good rule of thumb to E other people, but that doesn't mean you should never use it on yourself. No, you handled that exactly right. You opened with the poison touch.
Your
You
middle
went
tower
aggressive.
is
Right
under
click, right
attack.
click, right click. As soon as you got low, you graved. I like
Zeus all was casted. Oh my gosh, this guy.
Well, at least he's trying, right?
Yeah, he's playing Tusk, which I'm completely okay with.
I like Tusk.
I keep saying that I want to make I want to turn Tusk into a donkey. So when he does his all, it says Donkey Punch. I feel like that would be awesome.
That would be good. That would be good. So yeah, one of the great things about Dazzle at this point, especially when you get your mech, you guys can team fight like crazy. I believe the other team is mechless right now, and anytime that's a reality, you guys have a huge team fight advantage. So,
Your top
anytime
tower is
when you
under
get your
attack.
mech, especially if it's like before the 25-minute mark is a good benchmark, that's usually a time when you can try and get aggressive. This Storm is...
Your top tower is
I feel
under
bad
attack.
for him. Sniper
Your
pooped
top
all over
tower
him mid.
has fallen.
That Razor's a kill. You could probably even solo him here. Alright, just go ahead and heal yourself. You may want to mech.
Shadow wave.
Dire's structures are
Mech,
fortified.
mech, mech, mech. Oh, you were playing with fire there, my friend. So yeah, that was a close call, and I didn't really have to be. Sniper was preoccupied with the tower, but well done, well done.
The enemy's bottom tower has fallen.
So now just what do you just shallow grave max that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
There's no shit.
Some people say, a lot of people argue that last point in Shadow Wave is not worth the value of the first point in Shallow Grave, mostly because of the range. Grave has a really long cooldown. It's an ability worth leveling up, but I think his other abilities are just so aggressive that you kind of can't deny leveling them. If you're really finding yourself having trouble landing Graves in the early levels, because level 1 is only a 550 range, that's lower than the auto attack on a lot of heroes, you may want to grab that value point and grab it at the 700
enemy's bottom tower
range,
has
but I
fallen.
usually don't have a big problem with it. I think of all of his abilities, Shallow Grave gets the least as you level it up, which is saying a lot, because it goes from a 60-second cooldown to a 15-second cooldown, which is really nothing to scoff at. Oh my gosh, I love this Dazzle build. So how come you're going for the Yules here? Just out of curiosity.
You know, I think that it adds another. So I don't know. So what I feel Dazzle adds to the team fight mechanism is that he can extend fights. As this Razor goes off on everybody.
Yeah, I would be a little careful here. Yeah, I would just just avoid that fight for now. That was really poor. They were in a bad position. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And so I think that it's going to help you continue the fight longer, especially so when you have a mech, right, you can keep the fight longer, and no one likes having 3 heroes dead and their 4 heroes walk away with 10% of their HP. And so if you can keep your heroes alive longer, or stop other heroes from running, away, I think it's a benefit.
Yeah.
Not to mention the mana regen is pretty nice in Yules, right? It's not terrible.
Yeah. Well, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. That's that was a noble effort. That Zeus almost just took a lot of damage to the face. You're absolutely right. The magic or the mana regen is huge, and the reset tool is pretty powerful. Usually, I try to save the Yules for myself. Especially in the lower tiers, a lot of people don't know what to do when you have a reset.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Once you go invulnerable, they don't know, they don't have that split-second decision making of, is it better to continue focusing and try and kill you after you tornado, or do I move to a different target? But we'll hold that thought here.
Whoa, what'd I miss?
And nice weave. Actually caught 3 of it. It's a really nice weave. So after you weave like that, if you can just try and catch one with Poison Touch to make a setup for your team. Basically, if you had poisoned a target there, he would have been dead. Your team is ready to hop. So you can sort of look at that as an initiation tool, use it and sort of ping it out, and usually people will follow up. Sniper, that is an illusion, buddy. That is an illusion. Noble.
Zap!
I like this Tuscan Dro. They're funny. Oh boy. So yeah, Roche isn't a bad idea here. Dazzle's ult is very powerful around the Roche pit because it's important to remember that Weave does give you vision. It actually scouts the area, so if you're suspicious of the other team in the pit or anything like that, you can actually use it as a tool to get vision of what's happening there. But I would just head on over, throw your Tusk a little heal as he has taken some bashes to the face. Enchantress is not interested in healing him.
Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
Alright.
Immortality.
Haste!
Why is this guy apologizing?
Your middle tower is under attack.
I wonder if, I don't know, maybe like they took it.
He took the Aegis, but I mean, it's Dro Ranger. She's an okay Aegis carrier. There's no... You're hard carry, it's alright.
Yeah.
Just don't know what she's
Sniper can get away a lot easier with his Shadow than she can.
I mean, they
oh, she went Shadow Blade too.
Yeah, they both have Shadow Blades. They both went super squishy stealth build, but... so yeah, you guys can absolutely just kind of press forward here. Another nice weave to start it off. If your team is ready to follow up, you guys could definitely take a fight. So yeah, that was an opening or a position there where you didn't really have a good opening for Poison Touch, but just keep on the forefront of your mind. If you get a good weave off, if you can poison somebody, you can usually set up a kill. Now just auto attack. That's a dead Razor. Beautiful. Poorly played by the Razor. Your ult had like maybe half duration ticks. He was in negative armor. That's why he melted like butter to a warm knife. That was like exactly what you want to do. Start off use the weave before the fight even starts, and if the other team commits, oh boy, you guys will be having a field day. Oh, watch who's coming in on the backside.
The sprites are with us.
And in any kind of a team fight scenario, you kind of want to keep your heal on cooldown. Like if everyone on your team is grouped up and they're all down at least like 150 hit points, yeah, just throw the wave. A nice bit of sustain. You know, it's one of those abilities that you kind of want to spam as much as possible. All of your abilities you want to spam, just because they have low cooldowns, except for with the exception of Shallow Grave. But Poison Touch and Shadow Wave in team fights, you pretty much just want to keep using them as much as possible. Generally speaking, when you need to save somebody, the Shadow Grave... Jesus, I have dyslexia. Shadow Wave is not your best bet because mech heals for 250 and the Shadow Wave only heals for 140. The power of the Shadow Wave is healing everybody at once for doing a lot of collective healing spread around the group, not an individual. So you kind of want to save the mech for when you can either save somebody with the Grave or when everybody is grouped up and you can hit that full 250 hit points on your entire team.
Your middle tower
that Zeus is
fallen.
so dead. And when you're like you can heal bomb. Yeah, that's fine. Like if you're up in somebody's face like that, don't be afraid to use your heal aggressively and even snipe a kill. That's another way that you can kind of get a little bit of extra farm and take kills. I'll hold this thought as team fight breaking out.
Safe word.
Mech.
I was under orders.
So, yeah, that was sort of a...
We're back to the having, like, 8 different things. You have hotkeyed.
Yeah, that seemed to be the problem there. It's sort of brain overload. So, this is one of these situations where like sort of coaching you in a live game is not helpful. It'd be a lot easier if we could pause and look at what happened there and sort of break down the right steps, because it's like that was just too much happening too fast. But basically, what would have been ideal is to throw the Grave out on Tusk, try and keep him alive to start the fight, then do the Weave, then drop the Shadow Wave, and then use your mech kind of in that kind of an order. And then Tusk would have had enough hit points to turn around and start fighting. You would have done a little bit of damage with your Shadow Wave, and then you could have poison touched somebody and lay in those right clicks once your ult was already ticking. So unfortunately, it was like once you didn't get the first Grave on Tusk, it was kind of like, oh shit, he's already dead. Now what do I do? I might as well Grave myself, and then it was kind of a disaster from there. That's one of the problems with going Yules. That was sort of one of the things I was curious about with why Yules here, because now you've got Yules, Mech, and Magic Wand, 3 items that you kind of have to use in a fight, and you can sort of think of like those use items as if you're not using Yules, it's a little bit of a wasted slot. So one of the reasons that I like going Lincolns after mech, because it's just less to deal with. You can focus on, okay, I've got 1 core item, I need to make sure I use my mech, and make that a priority, get comfortable with that item, sort of like we were doing on OD, you know, get comfortable with the sheep stick, and then maybe add in the orchid. Then once you're comfortable with that, then add in a Shiva's or whatever your next use item is. But you guys should be able to grab this kill on Razor here, I think. No, maybe not. Snowball, he's too speedy. Yeah, so just be wary here. If the other team presses forward, just look for an opening for a good weave. That was not the best.
I don't think that got anybody.
Yeah, you got your Enchantress. Yeah, this is when you're in sort of like an odd number, like a 2v3 kind of a skirmish or something like that, you can throw the weave a little willy-nilly. If you're looking at a 5v5 engage breaking out, that's when you can be a little bit more patient with it. And try and wait for, really, if you're in a 5v5, you want to kind of wait for somebody to commit, so that A, the other team can't just back off and it ends up being a waste of weave, and also so that you can try and catch like your initiator with their initiator, make your frontliner harder to kill, their frontliner a lot easier to kill. That's kind of the ideal, but it's tricky. You can also use your ult as a zoning tool. At this level, a lot of people won't be privy to it. You know, they don't really think of Dazzle ult as like, oh shit, we better not fight. But as you start to improve and raise that MMR, you can also use it as like a posturing tactic. If you catch like their whole team with a weave, people that are a little bit more on point with how powerful that ultimate actually is will be much less eager to take a team fight. So just be a little bit careful here. Yeah, I would kind of stay back. If Tusk wants to initiate, feel free to follow up, but I would be a little cautious now that your team has spread out. What you could do is ping this top tier 2 tower and go for a push. I would also recommend grabbing some wards here. Oh, no, go for your... try to save your buddy. And you can throw out a weave here. And get ready to heal him. Shadow Wave. No. Mech was close. Now you're in big trouble, though. You can Yules yourself here if you need to. Nope, you're too fast. Yules phase boots, man. That move speed. So yeah, that was a noble effort for the Tusk. Not much you could have done there. I'm not sure.
I thought he was there a little bit longer than he should have been. I mean, you knew they were all there.
He was really just out of position. That was one of those, you tried your best, but there wasn't much you could have done. I don't think the mech actually hit him, but that was one of those, if you had been any closer to have the mech actually hit him, you probably would have just died yourself. So it's all right though. Space created. Sniper will take out this top tier 2 tower, and
the enemy's top
I would actually head back
fallen.
and I would drop the Basilius and grab yourself some wards.
Okay.
Since this is that time where you kind of want to be greedy in the laning stage. I actually probably should have asked you to buy wards a little bit earlier. You want to be greedy in the laning stage and then transition into hard support when wards become a little bit more important. So if both, observers, not sentries, yep. So if both sets are available, I would go ahead and grab 2. Yeah, grab the other set as well, since you're here. And you're rolling in the G's, man. You're a rich Dazzle, rich bitch. So this is where ward positioning is pretty important. At 35 minutes, you sort of want to think about with your wards, where's the fighting going to be? because you're at the point where really at this stage in a game, 35 minutes in, one team is map control. One team is generally going to be the aggressor. So the areas that you want to consider are Roshan, right? He's a high priority target at this stage in the game. So you're going to want to put a ward somewhere around his pit, either on the high ground here, or on the ramp up here. Any of them are satisfactory. If they have a gem, then the low ground is never ideal because they can just kill it. If you have any idea where they have sentries, you can put it on opposite sides. But anywhere around Roshan, so you know, all that kind of stuff. I like to have another one on this side of the map. Again, this spot outside of your ancients. I really like it. It makes it safe for your guys to farm ancients, and it still gives you a vision of primary access points about the mid map. Now, how would you say this game?
So they're
right
Roshan.
Yep,
I just saw them. They're going in right now.
Yep. And I would ping it out so your team is. Oh, watch out, watch out! You are solo right now. Your team is not with you.
Looking for me?
Okay, nice scouting with the ult. You know they're not in there. Just get ready to grave yourself as quickly as possible.
Not so fast.
Nice heals.
Zip zap.
Back out and go ahead and throw a wave on your allies there. Well done.
Zap.
So there you go. You used that ultimate perfectly. That's exactly what you would do. Didn't just keep spamming your heal. You're at the point now where you fixed your mana issues, so if you're low health, just use that heal, man. Just keep on spamming it. Alright, you may want to mech as soon as you pop out here. And
Should have healed.
yeah, unfortunately, Tusk sort of took you to your death.
Answer me, huh? Was it worth
Holy shit, I'm so okay. At least he apologized in all caps.
I find it easy to respect you.
This Tusk, I like this guy. So yeah, that was one of those, was like teammate fail. There really wasn't much you could have done there. I mean, you could have graved yourself afterwards, but like that, he just took you into death. So before that fight started, though, I was going to ask you in terms of ward coverage, where do you think the fights are going to break out? If you had to pick with your next two wards, what's your thought?
Like at this level, I think, I mean, everybody just thinks like gut them down the middle. Always, like it never fails at this level of play. All your fights are in the middle lane, and then we kind of just like push the outer lanes out most of the time, and then we go fight middle again. So that is my thought, is like their jungle or up like close to like going top ground, so we kind of have an idea where they're at, so on and so forth.
Okay, that's not a bad mindset. Pardon me as I munch on this apple. Two other really great ward locations are the plateau in your jungle up on the high ground, and the plateau in their jungle, because both of those are raised up, so they give you like the full ward coverage, and it goes over the tree line. Those are two ward placements that I really like, and it just depends. Is the other team pushing? Well, then this is probably going to be a good one for you, because you've got vision sort of in that area where they'll try and take a fight and hiding in the trees. Conversely, if you guys are pushing, the plateau up here is a little bit better. One good way to think about it is just look at the tower count. You guys have all of your tier 2s remaining. They have none of their tier 2s. That probably means that you guys will be on the aggressive more so than the defensive. And yeah, I would go ahead and throw a ward up here on the high ground. Beautiful. And look at that. You'll find yourself an alchemist. That's a kill right there. Open with that poison touch. Right click, right click, right click. Tusk is on his way over. And that's the easiest kill you'll find all game.
All for a 20. Oh,
and you just throw poison on that razor. You've got allies nearby, and you can heal bomb. So yeah, I'm not too afraid of taking kills with my Dazzle. Like if they're up in my face and heal bomb, it's sort of a way that you can grab a little bit of extra gold under the guise of, oh, if they flame you, I just try to heal, man. You know, it's sort of like a double-edged sword a little bit. But yeah, don't be afraid to heal bomb right away. And if you get the last hit, so be it. You know, everybody needs farm. So yeah, this is where you want to spam that shadow wave. Yep. And just let Sniper do his thing. He's chipping away at the tower, doing what Sniper does best. And this is where you guys you have a late game carry advantage. You've got a Sniper pretty fat.
Dire's structures are fortified.
I mean, just look at that. With the minus armor, like, this is ridiculous. Sniper just hits so hard. If you heal bomb right now, if you had healed right when he was in the middle of the mix, you might have had enough to finish him. But yeah, you're doing your job just by throwing out leave at this point.
The enemy's top barracks has fallen.
So it's looking pretty close to GG. Racks are down.
The enemy's top barracks.
Now,
has
one of the other
fallen.
things you can do with Dazzle that I
Your
noticed you
bottom
didn't
tower
do
is under
in this
attack.
game is you can nuke waves really easily. If you position yourself sort of in the middle of a creep wave and then heal the creeps nearby,
Your
you can
bottom tower is
one-shot
under
an
attack.
entire wave of creeps if done properly. So we'll sort of hold that thought here. So you want to heal your Enchantress, buddy? And let your team just lay into him. Don't forget you've got your mech. You may just want to burn it. There you are. And you've got wand charges if you need them. Oh, that's Zeus. Yeah. You handled that pretty well, though. If you'd used your wand charges, maybe would have been enough.
Healing power.
But that Zeus is irritating. He makes it a lot more difficult to predict because you just don't know when he's going to ult.
Right.
So it's sort of a guessing game with Zeus of, you know, should I save my wand charges for the escape? Should I just use them there? You know, against the Zeus, you kind of want to try and keep yourself at like that certain threshold where his ult won't be a kill if possible, but it's, you know, not the easiest thing to predict sometimes.
So I probably want to buy like my ultimate orb at this point, right? I've got a lot of money. I don't think we need to really worry about buybacks at this point.
Yeah, you're kind of at that point now where you guys pretty much have this in the bag. You have the late game advantage. You now have a Rax advantage. You can pretty much buy anything you want. If you wanted to grab a Desolator and just go carry Dazzle, you could probably get away with it here. But if you want to be regular, go ahead and grab your Ultimate Orb. And one of the good things about the Ultimate Orb is you can buy it and not really know exactly what you want to do with it. You can go Lincoln.
So what would you sell? Would you just sell the one last ward and be done with it?
I would probably put my TP scroll on the ground and then just bring it to me later on the courier after I plant that last ward. You really never want to sell wards back. If you have to sell something, the TP scroll is much less valuable. That ward, it's not like you get the ward. You can only buy a certain amount of wards, right? You can only get 4 every 6 minutes? I'm embarrassed that I don't know the timing off the top of my head. What the cooldown is. But there's a cooldown on wards, right? You can't just keep buying them. So if you buy all 4 wards, you put them down, and then they have a gem, and they counter all of them, you're SOL until the wards come off cooldown.
Dazzle!
So one thing you can do is stockpile wards. You can buy them and keep them in your inventory, and then all of a sudden you have like 15 wards and get vision of every single spot on the map. You can do that. So it's better to even just buy the wards so the cooldown resets so you have them, because there's no way to like speed up that cooldown. Oh, nice heads up. Scat out the Roche Pit. And that Storm Illusion will get juiced. Probably Poison Touch this Razor. You don't need to use. He did.
You are too noisy to live.
Nice play, though. That was exactly how you should have handled that. So yeah, and
Roshan
easy,
has
Roshan.
fallen
Just
to
take
the
it,
Radiant.
Tusk. Oh, there you go. If no one's gonna
I'll take it.
Yep, there you go. So you guys could probably just push bottom now, and that's the deal is pretty much sealed. But anyway, yeah, the Ultimate Orb is nice here because you can still go for Sheepstick if you want, or you can just make it a Lincoln's. You have the option where you don't have to commit. Magnus, he's dead. Zeus, he's looking pretty dead as well.
Struck down in my pride.
Thanks for standing still.
So there you go.
enemy's middle
You
tower
actually
has
played
fallen.
this game pretty darn well. I mean, all in all, I think your
enemy's
Dazzle
middle
is
barrack- the enemy's
fairly
middle
strong. I
barrack
mean, that Storm is on a suicide mission here, but I mean, I think the biggest problem that you're having is just buying too many use items and kind of overwhelming yourself with.
The
I think
enemy's middle
3
tower
use
has
items is
fallen.
too many. As we talked about last week, sort of starting small, getting really comfortable with that item on a certain hotkey, and
The
then working
enemy's
your way
middle
up
tower has fallen.
is the way to go.
Dark light.
And it seems like even from last week as well, when you had like Force Staff, Sheepstick, and Orchid, you only have the ability to use 2, and all of your abilities are in the fight. So
Victory.
Right.
I would just suggest making that kind of a rule of thumb. But you know, it's up to you. Again, it's one of those things. Yule's is no doubt a good item, but if you don't have the APM yet to use it every fight, then you know.
Right. And what did I mean? I cast it once to get away, so
Yeah.
I
mean,
I would have been
one
able to
time you
do
used it.
easily with a with the Lincolns, right?
Yeah, probably. The one time you used it, it was really good. That was a slick getaway. But was that once worth the stats? Like if you're not using the use, the item basically just becomes stats. And that 40 movement speed, that also did save you once. There was that one time where you were able to scoot away and you just were running faster than they were with the phase boots, and you lived. So, maybe that Yules is still worth it for you, even if you don't use it except once or twice a game. But again, that's really one of the reasons why I like Lincoln's, because it's so easy. There's something to be said for that ease of execution, and it just makes you tanky. The build-up is definitely harder, but you can grab the Void Stone first into Perseverance and then the Ultimate Orb. That makes the build-up a little bit easier, and it addresses some of your mana issues earlier on. Not quite as well as a Yules, but it does poke. The Yules is 150% mana regen, and the Void Stone is 100. So, it's not quite as much, but still pokes in the.
Right, and after maybe 20 minutes in that game, I was never below 40% mana anyway. So I don't know that extra 50% regen in that case really, you know what I mean?
Right, and don't forget, Dazzle has exceptionally high intellect game. So in the early stages, his mana pool is low, his mana regen is crappy, but as you level up, he naturally tackles his mana issues himself. So once you're at level 15 or so, he kind of levels himself out and makes up for that lack of int that he started with. So those early regen items become a little bit less useful later on, because it's weird how at the beginning you really need regen, and then you sort of hit this ceiling where regen is just not that important because you can't even spend your mana fast enough unless you're getting drained or something like that. So any specific questions about that game, or something you were confused about I didn't tackle, or
not really. You had mentioned nuking the waves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm pretty familiar with that. I just I don't know. I felt like maybe I could have been a little bit more greedy. I just didn't really want to do it with other people farming next to me. Because it ends up being a lot of gold. But so I'm pretty familiar with that.
Okay. It's not something you want to do all the time, but basically in situations when you're pushing, if you guys are committing to a tower push, don't be afraid to just take the last hits and just nuke the wave, because you can kill the wave faster than anybody else on your team in that game. You can literally one-shot all of the creeps and then top off your creeps to go into the tower fresh. So if you're absolutely pushing, there's 4 of you there moving into the tower, don't feel bad about taking those last hits. But you're right, if you're in lane still, it's just the 2 of you, yeah, I'd be a little weary though. Not that Enchantress was last hitting all too much.
Right. I was not gonna lie, starting that game off I was a little worried, but it worked out okay.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you definitely set up some kills with some big Dazzle ults. So. Do you want to try another Dazzle game? Do you want to do something else? Do you want to sort of look at that replay and look at a couple of the fights in closer detail? Where do you want to go from here? We've got about 50 minutes.
Whatever you think. I mean, I feel like both games that you've coached me through, we keep coming to the same conclusion, which is, as far as the actual laning phase goes, when to move, how the hero operates. I think I feel fairly comfortable. I think that I personally just need to focus more on builds that use less hotkeys that are going to be a little bit easier to understand. So I mean, we can look through that replay if you want. I mean, I think we kind of highlighted where the big mistakes were. There was the early shallow grave, I think, where we both Enchantress and I died.
Yeah.
Then there was the forgetting the mech and a couple of, because so I think the takeaway for me from that was, don't have so much shit in your inventory so you have to be mashing keys to do everything. You know.
Yeah, there really is. It's worth reiterating. There's something to be said for that ease of execution and not overloading yourself. So it sounds like you pretty much tackled it pretty well. I don't know that we need to look at the replay. I think we should just queue up and try our luck once again here. Sorry.
Maybe I can go mid with Dazzle if we get
we could
nice people.
Certainly try that and see how that works out for us. That would be good. But yeah, there's other sort of data behind the ease of execution, right? There's a lot of data out there that suggests that, for example, when you're doing a what's it called? If you're like what they do on Law and Order when they're trying to identify a perp and they bring somebody in and they show them pictures, and they have to pick who's the person that raped you. And they found that if they show the people the pictures one at a time and rotate through each one rather than just giving them a piece of paper with all 6 pictures, they choose the right person that actually committed the crime more frequently when they're showed one at a time versus all 6 at once. And the thought process behind it is because when there's 6, there are too many things to focus on at once, and instead of looking at each one closely and in detail and saying, okay, is that actually the person, you get caught up in comparing them to each other, and your brain just sort of naturally, it's like sort of like a rationality thing where it tries to average all of them out and find an efficient way to look at all 6 at once rather than looking at each one individually. And I think you can apply a similar thought process to filling up your inventory with all use items versus non-use items. It's good if you have the capacity and the comfortability to use all of your spells and all your abilities and everything and make all those items work, but that takes a lot of practice. That takes a lot of time, and it's just a slow grind. Like we talked about last week, the way I did it was, okay, there was a while where I didn't buy Magic Wand. I thought it was a stupid item, and then I had that aha moment where, wow, holy shit, this item can actually save my life a lot and give me mana to turn around kills. This is like one of the best items in the game. So you force yourself to buy it every game. You bind it to a key and say, okay, I'm going to bind this to a key. Anytime I'm low, I'm going to remember to use my magic stick. And then eventually it just becomes like second nature. In your mind, you start treating that magic stick like it's a spell that's on every single hero. And then once you're comfortable with that, then you can move forward and say, okay, now I'm going to practice my Dazzle. I'm going to get mech every game. I've got my magic stick on lockdown. Mech is going to be the next key over. And you just sort of rinse and repeat that process. And then eventually you work your way up. And then you can handle 5 and 6 use items. But
then you can someday try to play Invoker.
Yeah, then...
I have no one ever to play that. I seriously, I think I got him one time in an all random. And it was so bad. All I did was, I think I don't know, my little Forge Spirits, and I just ran around with them because I could do nothing else.
Yeah. And Invoker is, needless to say, an extraordinarily high skill cap hero. I'm not very good at him either, so I can definitely empathize at least a little bit. He takes an absurd amount of practice.
People who are good at him, I have a couple buddies on my friends list who just do insane stuff with them, and then people who are not good with them are not good with them. So
yeah, no, it takes a really. It just takes a long time. Not only to get used to all of his abilities, but just having the micro to be able to handle it. There's just so much at work right there. He has extra spells you have to remember, and then different builds, and he's insane. I do the same thing. The only time I play Invoker is I pretty much just go the Exort, Forge Spirits, right click build. Just go for a Desolator or something and try and right click people down. But to actually play Invoker and invoke quickly. God, it takes so much muscle memory, man.
See, this should be humorous for you. This is what low level matchmaking is like in the realm of Dota.
This is a joke to you, but this is my everyday, man.
Yeah, I always say if you can go a game without either a sniper, drow, or bloodseeker at this level, it's amazing. One of those 3 heroes will be picked always and forever.
That's funny. Yeah, for better or for worse, Sniper is a weird hero. He's really highly regarded by a lot of people as total shit tier dumpster, but he's not as bad as people say that he is. He is a true hard carry. And he will get out of control if left to his own devices, as that last game will be a testament to.
Oh yes.
So I would go ahead and queue up Dazzle and say, could I have mid please? Something along those lines. And see how they react here. Hit or miss. Sometimes teams are nice about it. Sometimes they're going to tell you to kill yourself. Really hard to gauge. You never know until you try.
I don't think it's going to work.
Yep, he picked Pudge, and it's looking a little bit dark, but that's okay.
So we have a Pudge, a Morphling, a Lion. Of course, they insta-pick OD.
Yeah.
After the Pudge, which is what I would do.
Yeah. It's a smart read. But they also have Axe and Riki. This may be actually a good game to talk about Riki a little bit, since you were struggling with that last week.
Right.
So this might actually work well for us. And if your team actually
10
grabs
seconds
Legion
remaining.
Commander, you might be able to work your way into a solo lane here. So yeah, I would just go
5
ahead and grab the
seconds
Dazzle.
remaining.
Oh, okay, good. Phew. I thought the other guy picked it for a second there. I was like, oh god, did he really just snipe Dazzle? That's mean. Wow, you guys have a really support-heavy team. He picked a Lich instead of LC. Interesting.
We do. All right, so let's do that.
Yep.
Let's do that, and that, and that, and that, and that.
Yes, that is.
Be happy with our life.
So I would head down bottom. If no one is calling lanes or being too serious about lane duos, I usually opt to go in the safe lane because again you can utilize the pull camp, and it's usually just a little bit easier to farm and set stuff up because you have the lane advantage. Now this game we're going to do it a little bit differently, and we'll assume that the other team isn't just going to keep shoving into your tower like they did last time. And we'll try and practice creep pulling a little bit here, at least just to try something different. So just to recap you here, this is your pull camp. Are you familiar with creep pulling and how to do it, or do you need?
Yeah, I am. Usually, like when the creep guys get to like that area, I tend to pull.
Okay,
try to pull them in.
That's not a bad way to look at it. You can also just use
battle
the timer.
begins.
It happens on the 15 and the 45 second of each minute. If you pull,
That would have been nice to know prior to taking a whole game to figure it out.
Yeah, if you pull right around those times, that tends to be the sweet spot. Now, generally speaking, you want to stack this camp before you pull it, because if you pull before it's stacked, it's the easy camp, and the creeps will just kill it, and, you know...
Then you have to tango out to the next camp behind it or whatever.
Yeah, you can do that if you want to, but if you don't, then the creeps will go back in, and then you end up sort of pushing the lane more because you have a double wave instead of a single. So what you can do in the early lane is actually stack it here at the first minute, and I would head over now if you want to go for that. Head over to the camp, and to pull or to stack rather, you want to auto attack.
52?
52 is a good number. This camp can be a little bit tricky, so we might want to wait just and then just run straight into the trees, kind of down here, down, and yeah, I messed it up. So the reason that you can't always run to the side with this camp, because it has a really funny box. Yeah, just head back to lane. But it has a really funny box that comes out far, and if you pull to the sides, it'll actually not stack the camp, even though they're out of the camp range. This camp right here and this camp right here are really weird with stacking. This one in particular, you have to pull it late. You pull this one at like 55 because they leash extra early, so you can't pull them into the mid lane.
Okay.
So just FYI, if you're ever mid and you're trying to stack that camp, you want to do that one around like 55 instead of 52. So this little camp is tricky as well, because you really want to go straight into the lane usually to stack, and that's the best way to do it. Also important to note, if it's the priest camp, the one that has the one priest healer, you don't want to auto attack to pull it, because the priest will stand there and heal instead of following you. You just want to run in and face check it, and then the priest will follow you and try to kill you instead of healing himself. So just little tidbits, but it's no problemo. Usually you want to aim to head over right around like the 35 or 40 or so. You don't want to miss out on too much experience, though giving solo experience to your Morphling, certainly not a bad thing. So yeah, you can just gear up to pull.
First blood.
Oh, good. Yeah, sniper with first blood is never a good sign. They have a really crappy lineup, but they have a lot of carry power. This is one of these games where they have a really crappy laning phase, but if it goes on long enough, they'll be able to overtake you guys. So that was a good stack, though, just pulling straight into the lane. And now you can go back and pull at the 215 here.
Go away.
Oh, actually, almost going to kill that axe. Is that a kill? Oh, Morphling, I don't think you want to dive that, buddy. Good timing for the poison touch. Well done. Okay, so now at the 245, you can pull the next wave. So the good thing about creep pulling is it does a couple of things. One, it allows you the opportunity to pick up some gold, because you get to last hit the creeps. It gives you some solo experience. It opens up more efficiency, right? There's kind of this untapped experience and gold farm sitting in the jungle. And any time that you can utilize that, it's good news. And there you go, right on the 45, and you just head through the trees. These creep buddies will go, oh, hey, look at that. So here, you don't really want to auto-attack the creeps. Your goal is to kill as many of the creeps and get the last hits as possible, but also your creeps will get denied, which is good, because you're just denying a full wave of experience towards the opposition right now. So, yeah, just score as many last hits as you can. If you're not too worried about lane positioning and you just want to farm, you can also nuke the wave and just kill all the creeps, but you're doing this pretty well. You don't have to worry about killing all of them because you can always just stack it once again. Like with a partial stack here. So you don't have to worry about cleaning it up with each push. Just do what you can while your creeps are there, and that was perfect. They weren't in experience range, so you can look at that as basically denying an entire creep's worth of experience towards the opposition. And now you guys have lane control back, and you're also level 3. So rinse and repeat, that's all you got to do. Well, that siege creep will keep them busy. But, yeah, I don't think you'll be able to stack with the siege creep here. But, yeah. It is important to remember, though, that stacking can be a little bit of a double-edged sword, and there is such a thing as overstacking. See if you can heal your Morphling. No, they're not going to pursue. Okay. Close call. So Morphling is playing with fire here.
Zap. Whew. I didn't get Shallow Grave at 3. I didn't even think about it.
No, it's okay. This is not a bad build. I do this build more often than I do the 1-1-1 opener, to be perfectly frank. But that's because I like the aggression from Poison Touch. I will admit it has bit me in the ass a couple of times, so it's definitely the more aggressive build. And this is one of these scenarios where it's almost unfortunate that you have such good lane control right now because you can't get to the side shot for your Basilius. That was a good nuke, though.
Fortified.
You're definitely a bit more heads up with, you know, when to try and nuke the wave with that Shadow Wave. Anytime there's a heavy melee lane that you're up against, you're in good shape in terms of trying to nuke the wave like that. So this is a situation where I would be tempted to just use the courier for that Sage Mask. Oh, back up to the tower. Let's see, how's your mid doing? He has he has stuff in the bank, sitting in his bank, but he's not using the courier. It's not good practice to take the courier from the mid, but at the same time, if he's not going to use it, you might as well. Yeah, so get those core items. Then you'll probably want to grab yourself the magic stick next. Same build we went last game. Axe and Riki, they use a fair bit of spells. Is there actually a creep camp here right now? Have they spawned? Yeah, oh, okay, it's just the one.
Oh.
Yeah, that's okay. One more, and there you are. So, you guys are, let's see, level 4 and level 5, respectively. Riki sitting level 5, and their axe kind of got the short end of the stick, though says he's level 3, he probably just rotated into the jungle. So, at this point, you can continue just sort of stacking and pulling, the same that we were doing. Morphling can certainly handle a solo Riki, so anytime you can get experience of your own and then give Morphling solo XP, you're in good shape. Pudge, yeah, nice read here. Poison Touch, Dismember, oh, that's an easy kill. I think the poison will finish him. Yep, there it is. That's that Dazzle kill. Well done. Grab yourself your wand. Moving into a pause. So this is going to be one of these games where there are a lot of supports, but no one else is buying wards at the moment. Let's take a look in the shop. There is one available. So somebody has a set of wards that they're not putting down. I don't know who it is. Oh, it's Lion. Okay, so he'll go ahead and ward it. So this is a game you kind of want to be heads up with wards. If you have allies that will help do some wards, you know, feel free to be a little bit more greedy and get your core items up. But if no one's warding, then you know you're going to need to place a higher priority on getting that first set of wards up so that your mid can control the runes. Lion does not have a rune ward down, but he has the means to do it, so it's at least something.
Last hitting like a champ, huh?
And you also may want to consider upgrading the courier once you have enough gold for it. You can probably at least throw some auto attacks. Yeah, Riki's going to be level 6 soon as well. So given that there's a Riki on the field this game, we're going to have to switch up our preferred item build a little bit and either go for some sentries or some dust to deal with detection. The best way to deal with Riki is just to bite the bullet, invest in those detection items, and stop him from balling out of control. That's really your only option.
Right, so dust right now may be a better option than wards.
Well,
because he's not as bursty as late game, or
it's a good question, and that's one of those. There are two parts to it. One is kind of personal preference, and two is how you want to handle it. In the laning stage, the sentries can be a little bit more useful because you're putting them down in an area, and Riki doesn't know necessarily if he's in ward coverage or not until you start attacking him for the first time when he's in Viz. So you can use that to sort of set up a surprise kill, which is good. And also, like, you guys are going to be in lane for a while, and Riki needs to farm lane, so there's kind of no way around it. But at the same time,
Excommunicated.
my talking probably didn't help very much there.
oh no, I should have realized that he was 6.
Yeah, I probably should have given you a heads up. I think he's going to be able to kill Morphling here, though they are going to dive at Morphling. Not going to be able to turn it around, although Axe is going to go through the tower. Well, you guys will get a little pick-me-up there. There you
Your
are.
bottom tower is under attack.
So, okay, yeah, you've got your sentries. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I would just head back to lane here. Not much else you can pick up. So placement is a little bit tricky, and what you can do is sort of throw one down in a good, like, average spot in the lane, kind of in the middle, and just use it, as best you can, and then save the other one for when you're trying to pick up a kill on Riki and he moves out of ward range, and then just throw it down and finish him off that way. Kind of use it like you would dust to secure a kill. So what you can do here is just come in and poison him straight away, and as soon as you get into the fray, just throw down, like, poke forward and throw down a sentry, maybe like right here, and you might be able to catch Riki being greedy. Yep, there it is, and just go ahead and poison him. No, he didn't see it, or he saw it rather. So, and what you can also do if you guys just want to box him out of the lane is just throw your other one down, like up here, so you have detection all over the place. The tower detection will come out to somewhere about here. This ward will come out to around there. So you've kind of got this lane on lockdown now, where there's a good amount of overlap. Riki won't really have.
Oh, I did it again.
Did what?
I didn't max out Poison Touch because I'm an idiot.
Oh, yeah. See, okay, there's Riki coming from. Just turn on the Riki and poison him. Yeah. Always try and move out of the cloud, and you might be able to just turn to a few right clicks and finish him off. No. Well, got him at least. If Morphling had turned as well, it would have been a kill. Yeah, sorry, that was kind of bad advice. I should have said grave and then turn.
Oh. So yeah, like this is the same thing. Like I feel like what Riki does best is like he throws you off of your normal like mindset, right? Like I mean, you never see him in pro play because he's not a good hero.
You see him a little bit. He's not totally ignored like Huskar. He's not on Huskar tier, but he's definitely not popular. Yeah.
And so what I think he does the best is just not he throws you off what you would normally do. You're always it's like when your boss comes to work and you're not expecting him, right? Like no matter what, they're going to exploit whatever needs exploited.
That's a really good analogy. I never thought about Riki that way, but it really is a good way to explain it. Yeah, I know. Actually, no. You did it. You did it right here with your build. You're level 6. You can't get that 4th point in Poison Touch till level 7. So this is the perfect build. The only thing that you could have done is gotten a Weave instead of Shadow Wave. But generally speaking, this is the build that I go for. So you're in good shape.
Where's this Morphling? He hasn't come up, and it's like.
So yeah, this is where you can really abuse those wards, and there you go.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. He's dead either way. Well done. And that's the power of the sentry. So this is how you keep down a Riki. In the laning phase, just put down some sentries. They last for a while. He simply can't lane. And now Morphling is thinking, look at this Dazzle. Look at it. He's buying sentries. This guy knows what he's doing. This is a happy Morphling right now. The only thing that you can get in the habit of doing is, especially someone like Morphling, like after you used your Poison Touch, Morphling hopped in. Morphling's on top of Riki. That's your golden opportunity to throw down a Shadow Wave. because you'll get at least one bounce from the Morphling hitting you, and then if there's another creep nearby, you might get another bounce onto the Riki. So that would have made that even easier. You would have killed him pretty much before his smoke screen came down. So if you're, especially when paired with someone that has a positioning tool like Morphling, as soon as he hops in, he's kind of expecting a heal straight away. So feel free just to kind of burn it. All right. Nicely done. Exactly what you want to do. And just keep on keeping on here. If you can poison him, perfect. Now that was the exact perfect rotation right there. You handled that exactly right. And you bought a flying courier too. You got yourself some more sentries. You are all over the place, man. Look at that.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Uh-oh. So OD is scary, but he did go Hand-to-Midas. So right now OD does, he's farmed well, but he doesn't have a lot to his name. So you guys may have an opportunity to use that to your advantage, but I would definitely be a little bit careful here. Be a little bit passive. Keep that finger on the trigger in terms of shallow grave in case they try and commit. Yeah, just play D here. You don't want to use that poison touch except defensively. I want to throw a heal out.
You're safe.
Grave, okay. Heal him when you can. Don't forget you'll have some wand charges. Ah, you're in big trouble.
Wings of wisdom cut you down.
Nothing you can do here.
I was under orders.
Nothing you can do. The only thing you guys could have done to make that easier, instead of running straight back, you guys could have moved into the trees behind the tower. That is one way that you can make clutch plays, like the kind of stuff you see on streams, is utilizing fog. And in this tower, like if you guys had run down in here, they would have been forced to micro about the tree, so if you keep fogging them, they can't auto attack you, but also the tower will keep attacking them, so that's where you can get those kind of turnarounds.
Okay.
I think that's the only thing that you could have done there to try and survive, because, yeah, running away from a Riki is usually not that easy. Gives him those backstabs that he's looking for. And this is where Morphling's weak. One of the reasons, Morphling's another hero that we don't see in competitive because he's just so weak in the early stage. He takes
I think it happened yesterday and they failed
to come online. Yeah. That match was a good example of why Morphling is not picked. He takes a lot of farm to come online, and even when he does, he still isn't really that scary. So I mean, he can still be a hard carry if he gets enough farm, but he basically has to go Lincolns.
Since this tower's down, like is this where it would be worth having wards and dust because you really don't have any control of where the lane is? Yeah. I mean, there's a pudge here, so it wouldn't make sense to waste the ward at this point, right?
Yeah, this is where the positioning of the lane is a lot more variable. The nice thing about your opposition pushing your safe lane tower is it gives you lane control. So now you guys are kind of in free farm heaven. The other team would be very eager to take a risk if they're pushing this far forward to farm creeps. You know, that golden rule is past the river, you're in enemy territory. So you guys have that lane control now, which gives you a little bit of farming room, but just hang on to that sentry and kind of use it in the next team fight. If you guys roam around and find Riki, you know, you can put it down to secure a kill and just hang on to it. But this is that point where you're going to want to perhaps start investing in observer wards if your other supports aren't going to do it. Lion looks like he's going to be greedy as well and move towards an Ags.
Your top tower is under attack.
And yeah, you guys just desperately need vision. I think this is the point where you guys can start grouping up a little bit, though. And I would be tempted to ask the team, like, hey guys, maybe we should group up and start defending these towers. They did do well top. They knocked down that tier 1 tower, so you guys are kind of doing okay. But, yeah, I would just sort of hang out with the Morphling. Yeah, you've got your sentries, and Lich went ahead and picked up mech. So make sure we don't grab mech. 2 mechs are not better than 1.
Is under attack.
We're on our way, Pudge.
So this may be a time. This is not a bad ward location here. Oh, but there's going to be a team fight breaking out. Pudge hooks the sniper. Not bad.
Chamber.
There you go. Maybe throw a stun out on the OD. Well done. Just keep right-clicking away. Oh, the shallow grave. Throw out the heal. Try to get another poison touch off before you fall. That Lich ult.
Your time above ground.
Not a bad exchange, at least a 2 for 3. I think. Yep, let's do it false. Or maybe a 3 for 3. Yep, there's the dunk. Look at all that blood spatter.
Exactly.
So that was pretty good. That was one of those situations where having weave probably would have helped that fight a little bit.
Especially with the axe.
Yeah, I don't know if it would have changed the tides right there, but it may have helped. You played that pretty much as well as you could have. The only thing you could have done is use those wand charges before you fell.
Dominating.
Again, getting in the habit of
This lion is he's a boss.
Yeah, dude, this guy's starting to ball out of control. He's a 800 gold from an Ags. So this OD is going to be a big problem, though. He's already, I mean, that ult kind of crippled you.
Yes.
So this is one of these games where, you know, considering a force staff here might not be a bad, a bad choice. I got the hiccups.
Bring back that bring back that int differential.
Yeah, it's good for the int differential, and because you don't have to get mech here, going straight for Lincolns is difficult. That's a rough build-up. You kind of need something before then. You could also go for a Drum of Endurance if you're looking for kind of an easier item. I mean, you were playing OD, so you're semi-comfortable with the Force Staff. It's definitely not a bad item on Dazzle and up against an OD. That's one of those, like, really situational where you're up against an OD, you need an early item, and somebody already has mech. I think Force Staff just fits the bill here. But, like I said, Drum of Endurance would also work if you have a preference for that item. So, good ward coverage here. Now Lion will help you out, and he's going to pick up some sentries as well. So you got a pretty decent team here. One other thing that you can do to sort of keep in the back burner, if you're in a bad team fight situation and you get a grave off on yourself and you know you're going to die and you're just like, well, what do I do? Just try and get a poison touch off before you die. And you kind of did it in that last fight where you used it as a last-ditch effort, and that's a really good play because don't forget, that shit does 320 physical damage over time. So like sometimes getting the grave off just so that you can poison touch once more is enough to secure a kill that otherwise wouldn't have happened. So just, you know, don't be afraid if you're in that situation where, you know, I know that I'm dead. Just, you know, try and get your weave off before you die. Try and get your poison touch off before you die. Riki will walk into this sentry and you guys should have a pretty easy kill here.
What a waste of an ult.
Yeah.
Oops, I said that in the game.
No, it's cool. It's cool. He knows. Oh, that Lich ulti. Weave comes in. Not the quickest, but oh my god, that chain frost.
Penetrating cold.
Lich deserves some props for that one. I would give him a good job. that was epic, man. That was like the best chain frost I've seen in a while.
The enemy's middle tower has
That's
fallen.
another thing I like to get in the habit of, like positive reinforcement. Anytime your allies do well, like it's like one of those things. It's either neutral positive, right? You're never gonna get flamed for telling someone they did a good job, and there are some people that really take that to heart. Just like, wow, this Dazzle's a nice guy. He told me I did a good job. So I've gotten in the habit of when someone makes a nice play or does a nice stun to say my thank yous, say my wow, man, that was really epic. Honestly, I've tried to get in the habit of doing it on the other team as well. If the opposition, like if a Magnus lands like a 4-man RP or something epic, just be like, man, that was a fucking sick RP, man. Well played.
Your top tower
I don't know. I don't know that it really makes a difference, but in my head at least, it makes Dota a better place. So there's poison, touch him, and just right click, right click, right click. Lifestealer should be dead. Sorry, I shouldn't have laughed at this pudge, but that was a silly hook.
Where my shadow falls.
You guys are just like wasting these cooldown items.
Meanwhile, in the mid, Lion does get picked off. You may want to go ahead and pick up a TP scroll as well, just so you have one. It's a good habit to get in to carry a TP scroll around, just so you can pour it in. Like there, you probably could have poured in mid and maybe saved a Lion, or at least gotten a turnaround kill if you had a TP ready to rock and roll. So just... it's kind of just good practice to have one. And you can also do pretty clutch plays with the shallow grave, where if they don't have any interrupts, just shallow grave and port out straight away, and they can't kill you. If they can't interrupt the port, then you'll make it back to the base. So it's just sort of a good habit to get into having one, but it does take... that's one thing that takes some practice, recognizing, okay, what are all of the potential things that could interrupt me here? Do I think that they're on cooldown? Is it worth trying to gamble with this grave port combo right here? That's another one of those kind of judgment calls that just takes a little bit of time. But your team seems pretty confident about grouping up and team fighting here, so at this point I would try and kind of stay with them a little bit. you know, find some farm wherever possible and keeping the ward coverage down. Now, this ward, important to note, does not give a vision of the rune. If you look down here, the rune spawns in that little circle right here. So you put it just a little bit too close to the Radiant Tier 1 tower. Not a bad ward, still gives coverage of Roche, but you can get a better bang for your buck if you just get a glimpse of that rune. So you know exactly what's there. Alright, a nice weave. Your team is nearby. And just prepare for some follow-up here. Yeah. You can definitely serve as bait. Like, this is like the perfect time to fight while your weave is at half duration, but the opening, well, maybe won't be there. Hopefully your team backs you up here. Pudge, throw the hook, buddy. So you can use your wand here to get a little bit of mana. And draw the heal. Make sure Lich is okay. There you go. Well done. Easy peasy.
Now just go back for mana, probably.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
That's so. Like, this is the only. I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess we're at 23 minutes. So the downside of not going mech, right? There's some mana regen in mech, right?
There is not any mana regen.
Your bottom
in mech.
tower is under attack.
No.
This is why you're the professional and I'm not.
No, you're not an idiot. It does give you some stats, though. It gives you
Radiant
5 to all
structures are
attributes,
fortified.
so int is included in there.
Your
It
bottom
does
tower
help
is
your
under
mana
attack.
problem a little bit. Ups the pool, helps your regen just a little bit, but no, it is not really a big mana regen choice. What it does do is give you a lot of much needed armor, and it just makes you harder to kill because as the mech carrier, you're always going to get mech on yourself. So it basically ups your effective hit points by 250 or so. So that is one of the downsides to not having it. I actually don't. I always feel crippled on Dazzle when someone else gets my mech, but yeah, what are you going to do? You're pretty close to your force staff here. Wow, they really farmed well in those other lanes. This Lich is rich as hell. He's got a mech and Ags. Oh,
yeah, the lifestealer is not very good.
Yeah. So I would go ahead and pick up a TP scroll here at the side shop, and it looks like they are going to push mid. And you may need to port in to defend. Again, just keeping that TP scroll in the inventory, still on cooldown, so no worries. You and Lich can pressure this tower. Look at this Lich making the plays. Ice armor on the Radiant creeps that are tanking the tower. I like this guy. So this is where you can nuke the wave right there. Yep, pick up all those last hits. And you can drop aggro on the tower if you attack one of your friendly units. Do you know about that little trick?
Bottom tower
I do.
Okay.
This I do know.
Okay, good.
Let's see.
And you're probably close to 4 staff if you don't have enough quite yet.
Oh god.
Oh, the mech was still on cooldown. Well, Lich is going to
That'll
clean it
work.
up for you. So, yeah. That was that's one of those where Riki is just irritating. That's one of those situations where there comes a point where you really just need a gem. That's the ultimate nail in the coffin for a Riki. Once you guys have an edge like this, picking up a gem and just moving around as a 5-man team, Riki can't do anything. He can't jump on anyone. He just becomes a regular hero. The key, though, is you have to have somebody that can carry it, and that can be a little bit tricky. You wouldn't be a bad gem carrier, actually, but you may just want to throw it out there. In chat. Yeah, also another thing that you can do, again, this is not specific to Dazzle, and it's sort of a higher skill cap type play, but what you can do, what you can do is, do you drag the items into the quick buy? Do you know
yes,
about
I do.
how quick buy works?
Yep,
Okay.
or I'll shift click them.
Yeah, okay. And I need to get in the habit of looking at your camera because there's probably tips I can give you for positioning your camera. Do you kind of understand the basics between reliable gold versus unreliable? Or maybe
Not at all.
We'll explain it here after this fight settles down. OD coming in with a small ult, actually. BKB on. You might just want to grave yourself. Oh no, you already used it. Okay. Okay, well that's not too bad. You guys finished off Riki and you kept your teammates alive for now. Lion's still not out of the clear. Oh, never mind, they are.
Your top tower
And
is
that's
under
a
attack.
dead OD, I think. Well, it worked out. It worked out.
Your death?
I feel bad
Your
laughing
top
at this
tower
punch,
is
but
under attack.
he's- it's just funny because like you used poison touch, so it's like you know that the OD is slowed and not going anywhere. So like you can literally just click on the OD and it would have been a perfect hook. Instead, he's like trying to lead for the OD to run away. I think he just doesn't know how Dazzle works. It's part of the problem.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's kind of what I noticed about like why everybody thinks the Dazzle OP is so OP, like or like the Dazzle ulti, because I've noticed people don't understand how it works at all. Like they don't have a clue, and so I think most people think like at my level of play, like, oh, an ultimate must do a ton of damage. Like every ultimate has to do a ton of damage, and so they see it cast and they're like, oh, that didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Why is there this broken shield above my head?
You're exactly right. It's like lower tier players that they don't understand how quickly it adds up, how serious of a damage buff that is, because it's incognito. It's just like, oh, minus armor. Yeah, that's well, okay, who cares about some minus armor? When you're at like negative 25 armor, like that's nothing to scoff at. And you just want to heal bomb. Take that. Oh, a nice taunt from Axe. You're gonna get Cullings here. Yeah, that was a really nice smoke screen from Riki before you went down. So, yeah, the only thing you could have done differently there is if you had heal bombed and just taken the kill, you would have killed Riki before the smoke screen would have come out, and then you would have had, well, the ability to cast spells, and you probably could have poison touched Axe. Don't be afraid when you're in someone's face just to shadow wave straight away. I don't know. Are you hesitant to KS by taking the shadow wave, or is it just still not?
No, what I've been doing is double tapping E, thinking it'll self cast, and I don't think it does. Or I'm canceling the animation because I'm hitting it like 800 times.
That's a good question. Does shadow wave cast on yourself if you double tap? I'm honestly not sure if it does. I don't do that. I don't double tap shadow wave on myself. I don't know if it does actually. Let's run an experiment. Double tap it in the well here and see if it does anything. It does. Okay. So yeah, maybe when you double tap things, if you're sort of in panic mode and you're also clicking, you have to double tap. Sort of like you can't tap click tap even if it's quick. It registers the keystrokes in succession, so you have to kind of like hand off the mouse, double tap kind of a thing. But yeah, so if it's just all about positioning. If either you or someone else are like right up in their face, just throw it out. It's a nice bit of additional damage that will definitely help.
So at this point, would you sell your Ring of Bass and pick up like your Voidstone?
No. What I would do is
or start saving for your ultimate orb.
Sorry, I'm watching this Lich get killed up top. Let me look at your items here. Either could be a good choice. I would sort of keep my options open and pool my gold. Okay. Poison. There you are. And this is like, just do that heal bomb. There you go. That's that last hit I'm talking about. So, wait for great. Oh, shadow falls. So obviously you could have graved yourself there and did the great escape, but that was sort of a doomed team fight from the get-go. That was like Lich got picked off, and he's a big part of your damage. So that was one of those. It's already a 5v4. Would have been better for the team just to disengage, but everyone else was going in. Yeah, there you go. So anyway, I keep my options open. I don't like to sell the Basilius just to pick up a Voidstone because you're not really changing out an item that is a clear upgrade. Like you've got your mana regen aura that's 0.65 compared to 100, basically a 1 aura or 1 regen of the Voidstone. But you're giving up all of that extra armor, and since you don't have a mech, the armor that Basilius gives you is pretty helpful. You get that extra 3 plus the extra damage. What I would do is just drop these 2 wards, and then once you have that open inventory slot, use that to carry around the Voidstone, and then kind of rotate around from there and try and keep the Basilius almost as long as possible.
Okay.
Especially if no one else on your team has a Basilius, which no one else does, or a Ring of Aquila. It does actually help out in pushes when you guys try and press forward. So, and also given that there's no wards down right now, would definitely be a good time to put them down. If I were you, well, where would you ward right now? I guess it's better to ask instead of tell.
I would go ward like the Ancients again. and then probably Roche, because it's getting to be that time where they might be in there. So I would say Roche first, and maybe go cast a weave on it.
I don't know that the weave is necessary, but walking by and warding it is definitely the right idea. But
Would
I
you
say,
go like here?
I'm in favor of this
Dire
one up here on the high
structures are
ground.
fortified.
Sort
okay.
of on the dire side of the river, so you get more vision if they walk in. But it's sort of personal preference. I like that one because it's a little bit harder to counter ward. If they pick up a gem or they throw down a sentry, you need vision up on that high ground to see it. If you just put it on the ground and they have a gem, when they walk by, they'll stumble upon it and be able to kill it. So just putting it on the high ground makes it a little bit more difficult for that ward to get killed. And oh, that's a kill, just poison him, and you can probably nuke him in the face.
Exposed.
Yep, there you go. Beautiful.
To the elements.
Riki caught with his pants around his ankles. I like the thought process to put the other ward down at the Ancients, but honestly, putting on their plateau might not be a bad choice either. Another big Chain Frost. Yeah, your team is handling this well. So there you go. Now just start chipping at this tower. You've got plenty of mana. I would just throw a healing wave for good measure, heal everybody up. Nice poison touch. You'll be able to kill that OD, no doubt. Now it's a 4v1. Lifestealer is going man mode. Don't forget, your abilities are physical, so you can still do a little bit of damage to Lifestealer even when he's raged. You won't be able to cast on him specifically, but it will not make him immune to the effects of Shadow Wave if he's nearby and catching bounces. So just remember that. It is physical even though it is a spell. So instead of your Ancients, I think that's a little bit too defensive here. You guys now have a mid lane of racks down. There's still
maybe their
2-2.
top plateau.
That's exactly what I was going, because it makes sense to stand, especially if you feel like there's going to be potential for a fight around this tier 2 tower, whether you're defending or pushing. This ward is perfect, because if you're on the offensive, you get vision of if they're behind the tower, if they're going to try to move into the trees. You have all this beautiful vision of ways they're going to try to initiate. That's an easy kill right there. You guys are in good shape. I think this is looking like a win here, my friend.
Now, at this point, would you just save for your soul booster? Since I'm literally like 300 gold away.
Soul booster, no. You mean Link? You mean the ultimate or the Lincolns, or soul booster is the piece that you use for Bloodstone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at this point, I would probably just grab the ultimate orb, and OD will blow his ultimate. Not going to do too much. Yeah, it's one of those things with building up to the to the Lincolns, where like if I'm struggling a little bit, we're not pushing towers, I don't have like a lot of gold to go around, and then I'll go for the Perseverance first because it's an easier build up. You get that early mana regen, all that kind of stuff. Saving for the orb first is more difficult, but if you can do it and not like... What you want to do is avoid the scenario where you're pulling up gold and then you're forced to team fight and you keep getting killed while you're saving that gold. That's what you want to avoid. But if you can like not die in that interim period while you're trying to pull up for the orb, I think it's best to grab that big piece first and you know, get the stats. And with this build, like not having mech, we really needed some sort of a stat item here, because for staff, it helps with positioning, but it doesn't do anything for that HP buffer. So, yeah, I like that a little bit better. It really does depend on the game. Now, since we have a break in the action, I want to talk about reliable versus non-reliable gold, because it's not too confusing, and it's one of those things that doesn't matter that much, but you can really make it work to your advantage.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
If you try to utilize it right. Basically, reliable gold is harder to get. That's what you get from like hero kills, hero assists, and then we'll hold that thought as there's going to be a fight breaking out up top.
Your bottom tower has
Nice
fallen.
weave to start it off. Punch kind of in no man's land. Just throw that shadow wave. I keep saying shallow wave. I keep confusing the two. So there you go. So you get reliable gold basically for kills. I believe towers are reliable gold. I'll try and recite this off of memory. I know Midas gives you reliable gold. Yeah, towers do give you reliable gold. It's stuff like that, things that you can't do very easily. Basically a map objective, hero kill, tower. I believe Roshan is reliable gold, stuff like that. Unreliable gold is everything else. The static gold gain that you get just for being alive in a Dota match.
Your
that
bottom
1
tower
gold
is
every
under attack.
0.8 seconds or whatever it is. And then also like creep blast hits, for example, are unreliable gold. So it works the same. It's basically one pool of gold, but when you buy items, it always buys from your reliable gold first, which is key because reliable gold is the stuff that you lose when you die. So if you buy an item right before you die and it uses up all of your unreliable gold and all you have left is reliable gold, you won't lose anything when you die. If does that kind of make sense? It's sort of an odd concept that seems overly complicated. Oh, this lion went the Dagon build. It's so cheesy. Oh man. So you may want to scurry up to kind of join your team here. They are looking to take some racks, and they need their Dazzle. Although they might be able to take a victory up here without you.
Yeah, they just needed to wait for the wards that are on the courier, and they guaranteed he'll get it. Now Riki's gonna snowball kills.
Oh, they actually they have a sentry down. Another big chain frost.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys are pretty tilted. They just won that fight 4v5. So yeah, that's basically how reliable gold works. So it's sort of like, it's a good rule of thumb to buy items before you die, but that won't always stop you from buying gold. If you have 2,000 unreliable gold, you've been farming like mad, pulling up for a Radiance, and then you buy like, 2 Blades of Alacrity, and you still have 300 unreliable gold, you'll still lose that when you die. You have to use up all that unreliable gold, and that's how you prevent yourself from losing money before you die. So that's like, sometimes you'll see people that are in the jungle dying to neutrals, and that's basically what they're doing right there. They're spending all of their unreliable gold, and then they die right away, and you lose like 10 gold from the static gold gain and basically get a free trip back to the well. You can utilize that to get yourself basically a free TP back to the base. So that's one of those things. That's sort of a higher skill cap thing. If you use the quick buy, it makes it a little bit easier just to right click items before you go down. It's again on the back burner. If you can remember to do it, it's great, but don't let that be something that totally confuses you. That Culling Blade. Ooh, might need to grave him here.
Not so fast.
And I would just throw out the weave and then another heal. Well, if you heal right here, Riki's dead. Nope. Half a second too late. But a noble effort. There is a sentry down up here that you can try to bait him into.
I'm just gonna go by.
Oh no! Just move out of the cloud and poison him.
The enemy's bottom tower has
fallen.
Yeah, you had the right idea.
See, it's like I said, it's like the boss at work. It just happens, and you just don't know what to do.
Yeah. Basically, what the ideal situation right there would have been to pop the Force Staff and get out of the smoke cloud, and then you could have poisoned him. Right click, right click, right click, and you probably would have had enough to finish him off. It's okay as your team was there to clean it up. The important thing to remember about the Riki smoke cloud is that it's just a silence, not a mute. So you can still use your items. If you have a mech, if you have a Force Staff, all of those are fair game. You just can't cast your spells. So since you have a Force Staff, that would have been the perfect opportunity to Force Staff out, turn and throw a Poison Touch if you thought he was still going to kill you, maybe Grave, and then just try and finish him off with some right clicks. So if Riki jumps on you, just try and make your priority using that Force Staff. This is also a good game for Force Staff just because of what we're talking about. You can hop out of Riki smoke and at least have that opportunity to throw out a heal and a Grave on yourself.
Right. So this game is pretty much won, right? 2 racks down. Well, only one set. But
only one set, but yeah, you guys are in good shape. They're getting to that point where their team is all hard carries. So eventually, like if you guys keep shoving into the base and they wipe you like a couple of times, they could slowly start to grind their way back, even though their team is kind of ass. But they're still a pretty far way off that. I mean, Sniper right now has a Maelstrom. That's it. One of their tier 4 towers has already fallen. So honestly, you guys could take Roche right now and just push into the base. Maybe it might be worth just pinging out Roche as well. Say like, hey, you guys want to try it? And you guys can probably get it. The other team might have wards down. It's usually not ideal to do Roche blind without wards. It makes it more of a gamble than it has to be, but you guys are far enough ahead that you can probably do it. And honestly, you're not the only one that needs to be warding right now, but this team fight will break out. Another nice weave. So he's just going to stand his ground. He wants the Lichy. Nice Grave.
Death cuts
Riki's gonna kill Lich, I think.
Watch your step.
Yep,
Children,
there it is. Not much you could have done there.
None so stabbed as those who will not.
Yeah, just stay with the team. This is where you guys are at the point now where you should really just have a gem, but you guys can just push for the win here, I think, anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. Your team's got sentries down, so the gem is a little bit of a gamble. It's one of those things, if you have a good gem carrier and you guys can actually stay as 5, it just cripples the Riki, but you can also just keep using sentries. It's sort of a little bit less of a cost-effective solution, but it's all about risk and return. If you can buy the gem and not worry about losing it, then the gem is better, obviously, because it's 750 gold, and what is it, 900? I think they keep changing the cost. Is it 9? Yeah, it's 900 now. I'm sorry. Sentries are rather expensive, but if you lose the gem, then that's 900 gold down the tubes, where sentries never really get lost unless they get countered. So what's important is having some sort of a tool to deal with Riki. And as you saw from that game, I mean, you basically kept him down out of the gate. Once you made that first trip back to the well, you got yourself some sentries. As soon as Riki was level 6, you guys were on point to deal with it, and you never let him snowball out of control. That is the cold and dirty secret to dealing with a Rikimaru. But damn, look at you, 2-0 today.
I know.
Doing Dazzle proud, man. Too bad those weren't ranked games.
Yeah. That's okay. I told you about. I had the same your vent yesterday. I was at work watching your stream. Your vent was identical to exactly what happened to me when I got home. Just you want to be nice, you want to be positive, and then sometimes people do stuff, and it's not even that people do stuff that is ignorant. It's when they believe what they're doing is right, and you're the ignorant one for calling them out on it. Just makes you want to strangle things.
Yeah, it's we're on the same team, man. I just want to win, just like you do. I'm not giving you advice because I'm trying to sabotage. I'm giving you advice because I want to win. Yeah. It's frustrating when people sort of act like you're their enemy, and it's like, God, we're on the same team, man.
And I really haven't. One of them was a mutual friend of mine we were playing with who. It was just insistent. I have to jungle Furion. I have to. And I even said in the draft it was captain's mode, and I said, when's the last time anyone won jungling their MP? It just doesn't. I mean, he's great in solo off if he can be aggressive, and but beyond that, he just doesn't do well in the jungle. I don't think so.
Yeah. He does okay. He just takes a long time. You just have to it's like if you want to do that, you have to draft around it. You have to have 2 solo heroes that can truly handle their own. You need a Wind Ranger, you need a really strong mid that doesn't need help, and kind of a strong duo lane that can win their lane without the help of Nature's Prophet. If you can draft that kind of a lineup, you're in good shape. It can be efficient, but that usually isn't what happens. People pick whatever they want, and then you're stuck with this really terrible solo lane that ends up feeding, and Nature's Prophet ends up QQing because he's in the jungle, and everyone else is feeding, and the game's already over, and it just I agree though. I get frustrated when people pick Nature's Prophet in lower tier games. He's a much harder hero than people think. He is an exceptionally high skill cap hero, and his abilities are easy to understand, but playing him well, positioning, using your teleport, being active when you don't have a lot of items, it's hard.
Right. Well, and I've noticed a lot of guys think that early you have to be at every team fight, and I don't play him, but he's one of those heroes I think kind of like your PL or your Morphling, where you've got to give him so much time to get his items up if he's going to be that big right click. That build, he just needs so much time to get all of that, and just TPing everywhere around the map and getting no farm doesn't help. So,
yeah. So again, reflection time. Any thoughts? Was that kind of on point with the first session? I still feel like I'm kind of just barking orders at you, but again, if that works for you, it works for me. Any thoughts about things we didn't cover or to tackle next week? Or
no, I think. I think it's good. My hope is that, I really like playing Dazzle, and like you said, you can make a lot of friends in solo pub playing quality support.
People love a good Dazzle.
They do. So maybe, because no one plays perfect, but we went 2-0 with Dazzle, and I feel pretty comfortable with the hero, and so maybe we can move on to more Dazzle-like heroes or other quality supports possibly
Okay.
that I really like playing Lion a lot, and I know that Lion and CM is a really cool hero, but I don't ever play CM ever. So
Okay.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, CM can be interesting. She's fun because you can really roam and gank quite easily. So and she's also interesting because you can spend a lot more time in the jungle. That's something a lot of lower tier people don't realize. But Frostbite lasts for like 10 or 12 seconds on neutrals. So jungling with CM is actually pretty viable. So you can let your lane have some solo experience. You can get some solo farm, and CM can be a pretty high impact hero as well. She's a little bit more difficult than Dazzle, in my opinion, just because she doesn't have an escape mechanism. She's much more glass cannon style. Like you can gank a little bit easier, but at the same time, she's very squishy and she falls off a little bit more as well. Like Dazzle's ultimate is good until the bitter end. That never gets bad. CM's ultimate, there comes a point where people have BKBs, they have positioning tools. You're just too, like, it, the damage just doesn't scale, kind of like armor does. So it's kind of a different beast if you're really comfortable with Dazzle, but I mean, I'm more than happy. Yeah, I mean, you're calling the shots here to some degree, my friend. So if you want to go with CM, we can certainly.
Yeah, we could. I mean, there's a bunch. There's a bunch of like. I just go through all the people that shit on me when I play against them, like Witch Doctor. Oh my god, that ultimate is pretty insane. So yeah. There's a lot. I mean, I'm sure we can figure something out along those lines. And who knows, I might go 0-7 with Dazzle, and we're going to have to readdress it next week. So
very possible. Dazzle is also a high skill cap hero. It just takes some practice, and just get used to that magic wand, man. Focus on, like, basically, what I would suggest is putting magic wand on, like, that's an item that you can get on every single hero, bind it to the same key on every hero, and, like, treat it almost like it's a spell that is available on every single hero that you pick, and just get used to having that tool at your disposal, and get that muscle memory there and nail it just like it's any other ability. And once you kind of master the art of the magic stick slash magic wand, those other use items will become a lot easier. Your Force Staff, your Yules, your mech, all that stuff. Just practice makes perfect. But yeah, the wand is one that you can easily just pick a key for it and treat it just like any other spell, because I like, there is literally no hero that is bad with a magic wand.
Right.
So, and as I said last week, if you come across anything specific, like heroes that you struggle with, it worked out well that we had a Riki in that last game, so we could tackle that. But any specific questions or mechanics or whatever, we can we always have time at the beginning when we're stuck in queue, and we can chat about stuff. So just keep it in mind. Always happy to answer questions. And yeah, it's a pleasure as always, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun as always. Definitely session 2 went just as good as session 1, so I'm really happy.
Hear it. I'm glad you're satisfied. I'm still surprised that there is someone out there eager for my coaching, but I appreciate it, man. It really is a pleasure.
It's kind of nice too, because you kind of have like you could market it as like a personal caster for your games.
I noticed in that last game, I sort of naturally go, all right, nice ult from the Pudge, all right.
Yeah. It was pretty. You found yourself watching a couple of times. I noticed in team fights. I was like, I wasn't doing anything important. I was like in the well, and you were like, you were like on the brink of casting like lich ults and missed hooks and all kinds of stuff. So
well, you know what they say, old habits die hard. And I mean, some fights, like, it's good for me to give you directions, but there were times in that last game in particular where I didn't really need to tell you what to do. Like, I noticed I was going to say something, then right as I was about to say poison touch, you already threw it out. You weaved right away, and then you did it on your own. So I don't need to give you the play-by-play, like, do this, do that. I don't want to overwhelm you if you're actually doing it the way that I would have done it myself. So
right.
I think there was a pretty clear improvement between game 1 and game 2. Some of that was because your teammates were a lot better in game 2, but I think you also did play a little bit better. Guys, if you're interested, I appreciate you enjoying this coaching session. We'll probably live stream the next one. I didn't see too much flame in chat. I didn't screw up too many times, so it can't hurt. It seems like averaged about 40 concurrents, so it's not too bad. I guess some folks taking notes out there. If you want to follow my student, it is Zacthedude. It's actually in the title of this broadcast, so give him a follow on Twitter, and as always, you can follow me at ZyoriTV. But I think that's it. I actually have to prepare to cast Star Ladder, Zach, so
have fun. Yeah. I get a new hockey bag in the mail today. I'm quite excited for. You're getting old when you get a hockey bag that has wheels on it. So I'm pretty excited for that.
I ordered some new pants the other day, and I sort of felt the same way. I'm like, man, my life is really hitting all-time lows, and I'm excited about ordering jeans off the internet.
Yeah. The world we live in.
Yeah, the world we live in. So, all right, my friend, take care. I will catch up with you on Skype, I'm sure. We'll tentatively plan for same time next week.
Great. Works for me, man. And if it needs to change or anything, just let me know.
Yep, you got it. I'll keep you up to date. I think next week there will be a Chinese Star Ladder, and I don't know what the schedule is off the top of my head, so my schedule might be funky, but I'll let you know with plenty of heads up so that we can arrange something.
Okay, man. Cool. Have fun casting the Star Ladder. Today's game should be a lot better, I think, than yesterday's.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, winners bracket, 2 best of 3s. It's going to be good stuff. I'm excited. So, all right, man. Take care. I'll catch up with you.
All right. Bye-bye.
See ya. All right, guys, that wraps up the stream today. That was the first live session of Zyori coaching. My one and only student, great guy, Zacthedude is who he is in chat, so keep an eye out for him. He's a good guy, and it's been a pleasure coaching him so far. Not a service that I've been marketing, but he was eager, and I'm happy to do it. It's good practice for myself as well. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you guys learned a tip or two. We will probably be streaming the future live coaching sessions as it makes for interesting content, and, well, it seemed there weren't too many complaints in chat, so I'll take that as a sign that at least a handful of y'all out there enjoyed it. But that's it, man. I don't have anything else. Thank you for joining us. I got to go prepare for Star Ladder. Got to get a little lunch in me. Go wake up Merlini. And I'll see you guys over on the Dota Star Ladder _N channel, as that's where their Star Ladder North American coverage will resume today. We've got winners bracket best of 3s coming up. Very exciting indeed, and we hope to see you all on that channel. Till next time, guys, take care.